Hi everyone, my name's David and I'm running a session of Bite Me this afternoon. So Bite Me is a Powered by the Apocalypse based role-playing game. It's a game about werewolf pack dynamics. So the players today will be playing members of a werewolf pack. The game is designed by Becky Anderson, one half of Black Armada Publishing, responsible for Lovecraft-esque, amongst other games. The Bite Me has just finished its Kickstarter run this last week or so. So it's not currently released, but if you've missed the Kickstarter, you can follow the website, the Black Armada website, or the Kickstarter page, and find more information out about it there. The rules we'll be running from today are the sort of early release rules that were provided to backers. The game we're running today is part of the Gauntlet online role-playing game community. As part of the Gauntlet Hangouts calendar. So the Gauntlet community is essentially a group of people on the internet who play a lot of indie role-playing games of all varieties, really, from sort of OSR stuff through to story games and a lot of other stuff as well. So we, as a community, we host a number of podcasts, including the Gauntlet podcast, Plus One Forward, which is specifically about Powered by the Apocalypse games, which might be of interest if you watch this, as well as Discern Realities, Fear of a Black Dragon, and the Farrier's Bellows, three other ones we do. We also produce a monthly gaming zine, which has material for, again, indie role-playing games. So from new short games to additional materials for existing games. There's a lot of good stuff in there. You can find information about all of these on the website at gauntlet-rpg.com. And we also have a new set of forums on there where you can go to discuss stuff, find out more, and all of that. So without further ado, I will ask my players to introduce themselves. So yeah, as I said, my name's David. I'm based in the UK and I use he, him pronouns. So I'll go in order of the character keeper, if I can find that. So Wade, I believe, if you want to start with yourself.
Hi, I'm Wade. I go by he, him pronouns, and I am from Canada.
Hi, I'm Kyle. He, him pronouns. I'm from the US.
Hi, I'm Rob. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm from the UK as well.
Brilliant, thank you all. We'll get into now. We'll go through and introduce characters, and also just have a brief recap on events of last time. Today's session will be the final in our current run of this game, so we should see some resolution, hopefully, to some people's stories and some interesting stuff come out of that. Before we sort of get into the actual game material itself, I'm just going to do a brief chat about the safety tools we use. Well, both as part of the Gauntlet in general and as part of this game in specific. So as part of the Gauntlet community, we have what we refer to as the Inclusivity Policies. This is basically a kind of code of conduct, code of best practice for participating in the community, running and playing in games as part of the Hangouts calendar. What this essentially boils down to is we accept we're all here to play games and enjoy each other's company for fun. We're to treat each other as friends, assume best intents at all times, be inclusive and friendly of other people, take their feelings into account, that sort of thing. We also run by what we call the open door policy. What this is essentially just means that if at any point during the game you feel like you need to leave, whether that be to leave the game entirely for the afternoon or to just take a bit of a break from what's going on, then feel free to do so. This can be for any reason. It can be because you're not enjoying the game. It's an uncomfortable thing to play for you today. It could be because you suddenly get a phone call you need to take and you have to go and deal with stuff, or even if you're just not feeling it really, anything like that. You can just walk away. Don't need to justify yourself. If you let me know if you are going to sort of leave entirely, just so I'm aware. But other than that, that's fine. we also have a couple of safety tools we'll be playing with. So primarily amongst these is we've had sort of a discussion before the game kicked off about what content we're going to be involving in the game, setting down some lines and veils. So lines are essentially material that we won't include in the game for any reason. That stuff we won't allude to it in backstories. We definitely won't feature it in live play. It's just something we're going to leave aside entirely. Veils are things that we will draw a veil over if they come up in play. We can include that content, but if we do so, we'll do it in a slightly oblique way. We might have fade to black before a particular scene happens. We might just refer to it in an offhanded way and skip forward a scene. Anything of that nature. The next safety tool that we'll be using is the script change tool by Bree Burr-Sheldon, which is a tool that allows us to kind of control a scene if content comes up or is likely to come up that might be challenging, might need a little bit more care and attention over it, or to avoid content that we're not enjoying. So there's a number of commands. There's a little PDF for my players of this in our shared drive. At any point, you can call rewind. What rewind does is we will stop play for a moment. We'll rewind to an appropriate point as we decide, and we'll start play back from there again, and do things a bit differently. If kind of the scene's gone into a route that we're not happy with, we don't like, and you might think actually now I'd rather we did this slightly differently, then you can call rewind. Fast forward is where maybe we hit a point in a scene, and you decide, well, the scene is fine, but I don't want to dwell on what happens next. So can we just skip until after something has happened? So it might be like, say, yeah, there's a big fight, and we don't want to have like a big gruesome description of how you beat up the guy that you've just beaten, but we know that he's going to end up dead, and we're just going to skip to the point where you have killed him, and without going into the details in between. That's perfectly fine. Frame by frame essentially is if we're going into a scene where you think that there's a high chance that the game may go into territory you're not happy with, or that you're uncomfortable with, you can call frame by frame. And what this just means is we'll just take the scene a bit slower. We'll stop in frequently to check in that everyone's happy with the direction the scene's going in. Then there's pause. Pause just does what it says. We stop the game briefly. We'll have a chat about why you've paused, what you might want to do. We may then look at using something like fast forward or rewind if such is necessary. But pause is basically just to let everyone know we'll have a timeout and discuss what needs to be done. Or it may even just be that the scene's getting quite intense and you want to carry on with it, but you just need like a moment to breathe. That's fine. The other two that are perhaps slightly less likely to get used are resume basically just does what it says. Once we've stopped or once we've paused or used one of the other tools, we might just say resume to sort of say we're just going back into normal play again now. Instant replay can be used after a scene to basically just go over what's happened in the scene and either just say, hey, I really like what happened, that was cool, I liked how you did that thing, or if like you want to clarify something that was sort of done in fiction but might be unclear. It's like, oh, I know that you said you were stealing something from Bob. Did you steal his pocket watch, or was it something else? I didn't quite get that. Just to sort of ask those clarifying questions. And finally, our sort of emergency tool we have as well is the X card. This functions in a very similar way to pause. Essentially, you can X card if there's some content that's come up you're not happy with and you just want us to move on from it and not bring that up. You can activate the X card by holding up your hands in the sort of X shape in front of the camera, by typing X in the chat at the side, or just by saying I'd like to X card that. I might ask you like specifically what content it is that you're not happy with, just so that we know to avoid it going forward. But you will not be asked to justify why you've X-carded something. As you know, if you're not happy with it, then you're not happy with it, and that's enough. We don't need to know why. Conversely, if you get X-carded or content you bring in gets X-carded, do not take it as a personal judgment. It's just, you know, something that someone doesn't want to pursue, and that's perfectly fine. Don't need to justify yourself. Don't need to, you know, apologize, really, anything like that. We'll just respect the X card and move on. Yeah, so I said you may want to X-card something because either you're just not happy with that content in the game, whether that's because it makes you uncomfortable or it's a, you know, an uncomfortable thing to deal with, or because you just don't think it's tonally that apt. Any of those are decent enough reasons to X-card something. Cool. With all that said, we will introduce characters, get a little brief recap, and get on with playing. So again, I'll go through this in order of the character keeper. I will just ask you to introduce your character, tell us a little bit about them, what they've done, and something that happened last session. So yeah, once again, Wade, starting with yourself, please.
So I'm playing Ash, who is the pack's enforcer, doing things other people don't want to do. And something that happened last session. Oh, well, we had some people injured when the ranger station was attacked by the gang of biker werewolves, and Ash and Colt, I think it was, had to take them to who the pack goes to for medical treatment, who it turns out is a necromancer, perhaps. We know she's a taxidermist and a little bit in the know. So,
brilliant, thank you. Oops, sorry. Carry on.
I play Colt, the newest member of the pack. I think he's the only member of the pack who doesn't know that Wade killed the Alpha's girlfriend. Or sorry, Ash killed the Alpha's girlfriend.
Okay, so I'm playing Rick McCready, goes by Mac. He's the prodigal, just back in town after being away for a while. He's been investigating some potentially werewolf-related deaths, and discovered in the process that Ash was responsible for the death of Claudia, which called Ash out on without really revealing it to the rest of the pack. But yeah, there's some tension going on there because Rick doesn't approve of that.
Cool, thank you very much. So yeah, where we left off last time, the pack had, at the beginning of last session, the pack's alpha was the target of an attack by a group of a biker gang who were all werewolves, known as the Howling Wolf Motorcycle Club. They launched an attack on the ranger station where the pack alpha, Evelyn Moore, works as a park ranger. The rest of the pack showed up and fought off the Howling Wolf pack. They've been sort of recently moving in and trying to muscle in on the territory here in Harper's Den, which is a little town up in Oregon. So at the end of last session, the pack mounted a decisive assault on the Howling Wolf MC, driving them out from their temporary accommodations in a bar roadhouse place called Donnelly's. They'd used a mixture of ambush and overwhelming force to take out the rival werewolves, and where we are going to start play today will be with a celebration of the victory over the Howling Wolves, which will be held at the hunting lodge that the pack own. So what I will do in a moment, I'll just give Rob a moment to get back. But what we will do to start with is just go for a brief description of what the festivities look like. So if you want to be thinking on one activity that the pack engages in to celebrate victory. Let's rub back now. Yeah, and we'll then get a we'll then pick things up from there. I was just saying, Rob, I'm just going to go through and ask each of you. We're going to start up with a celebration of the victory over the Howling Wolves, and I'll just ask everyone to describe one thing that the pack does to celebrate its victory. This will be at the hunting lodge. So, Ash, if I can start with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think because sort of on a symbolic level, any sort of big fight or whatever is seen as like a form of hunt. When the whatever we're triumphing over isn't something we can eat, we come back and have like a big meal and stuff like that together. It's part of the celebration.
Cool, brilliant. Thank you. And Colt, what else happens at this celebration?
I'm not sure if the whole pack is doing this, but Colt is treating it as an excuse to treat it like a party, lots of drinking and stuff.
Yep, I think that is a fairly common reaction. Werewolves tend to be quite don't tend to be subtle about their celebrating. It's they very much live life for the moment. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of drinking going on in general, I think.
I think they're sharing stories of the hunt. Not specifically the hunt that's just finished. It could be previous hunts that give basically share anecdotes about this one time. I can't come up with anything off the spot yet.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so the mood is quite high. Evelyn is drinking, and a couple of the other pack members. Rain has returned from Meadows. She seems in much better health than she was before. Whatever Meadows has done to her has sort of meshed with their innate werewolfy healing, and they are recovering quite well. Doug, the grey pelt, isn't here. Whether that's because he's not finished healing up yet, or because he's just gone back to his sort of more solitary ways, is currently unknown. There's a big barbecue going, and sort of cooking the food outside. There's sort of coolers of beer around. It's maybe there's a little bit of a chill in the air this evening, but it's still pleasant enough to be out. And so Mac, I think I'm going to start. What's your mood at the minute, and what are you doing at the party?
I think Mac is he's trying to be involved. drinking with the rest of the pack, and sharing some of his own stories from when he was here. But it's clear that he's uncomfortable. He's not quite at home here yet. And occasionally, he's giving like angry looks across the room to Ash.
Cool. So yeah, Ash, how are you feeling in the aftermath of the victory?
I think I'm providing a little bit of a contrast there with Mac, because just had the adrenaline of that fight and stuff like that. I think Ash is probably in some ways more relaxed than we've seen him thus far. He's drinking, and he'll notice the looks from Mac, but kind of shrug it off on sort of whatever. We just went through this big struggle tonight, and we came out on the other side victorious. Fuck it, enjoy the victory.
Nice. And Colt, how about you? Are you picking up on this sort of underlying tension, or are you just too caught up in the minute to notice it?
I think for most of it, he's been just too caught up in the excitement, just lots of drinking, lots of whoa, yeah, generally making a scene of himself. But he's starting to pick up on the vibe.
Cool. So I think at one point Evelyn is going to sort of stand up and gather everyone around for a toast. She's got a bottle of beer that she holds up. She says, "Tonight we won a great victory. We ran those mangy ferals out of town. We showed them that we are pack, that we are strong, that none can stand against us. But while we won the fight today, we can't forget those sacrifices people have made to bring us to where we are. Rain and Doug," says with a slight tone in her voice, "both were grievously injured fighting for the pack, and we thank them for what they have done." She'll raise her bottle, and there'll be some assorted cheers and the like. And while she had not joined us in the pack, many of you knew Claudia, knew what she meant to me, and we now know that she was taken from us, and so we drink tonight to her memory. And she'll sort of raise her bottle again and drain it. There's sort of the reaction to that's a little bit more subdued, and she turns to Mac. "Ash, did you find anything more about who did this to Claudia?"
I think Ash will probably pause to sort of give a little bit of a look at Mac, and then we'll say nothing definitive, but considering where this gang was hanging out, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if this issue got settled last night.
Cool. I'm going to ask you to make a disobey roll there, please, because yes, you are. Bear with me. So I just lost the.
That goes off guts, I think.
It does indeed. Yep.
Okay. That will still be a full success, though. So
excellent. Yep. So, sorry, I've just lost the sheets I'm looking at. Here we go. Yes. So display when you resist the following. Yep. So this is essentially because you were ordered to find out what happened to her. You're resisting her orders here. Yes, you on the 10 plus, you are able to. So obviously you said what you said, but yeah, you kind of convey that to her in a way that she's sort of happy that's you're answering her. She trusts you. You've been her strong right hand for a long time. And you actually take +1 forward to your next roll because you're kind of feeling buoyed up by that. Success. Said, you're probably right. She did die a little before they got here, but maybe she heard something. Maybe one of their advanced people found out about her. Well, anyway, tonight is not a night to dwell on such things. Tonight is a night to celebrate. So, drink, eat. Tomorrow we may die, but tonight we're alive. And there's a much more lively cheer in response to that.
Yeah, Colt starts cheering like a whoa, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I think he's gonna go over to Mac and just like, yeah, it's great. I'm glad you could, make it back for this. This is awesome. We ran those folks off. Yeah, this is our pack, our territory. Whoa.
Yeah, woo.
Colt's gonna like slap you on the back, probably a bit harder than nice. Just yeah, this is great, right?
Yeah. It was a good hunt.
Oh man, you gotta like loosen up a bit. It's I mean, yeah, some people got hurt. We lost one of ours, but we made them pay, right? Yeah, come on, get into it. And he just like kind of shoves you a bit. I'm trying to trigger the cub move, scrapping. When you express emotions physically, like cub scrapping for dominance, roll plus heart. Should I just roll for that now, or?
You're muted, David.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, I was in the other screen, so I didn't see my mute button.
Ooh. I got a 7.
7, cool. So on the 7-up, you ask one question which your packmate has to answer truthfully.
Colt says, "Come on, Mac. What are you so bummed about? What's eating you?"
Everything. Not everything's been tied up neatly in a bow.
What are you talking about? I mean, the bikers, we ran them off. What else is there?
It's not my secret to tell.
Whose is it? I'll ask them.
I don't say anything, but you catch me looking over at Ash.
Oh, all right then. Okay. Colt heads over to Ash's side of the get together.
I think Ash is probably, talking with one of the other Patmates, drinking his hand, looking, probably more relaxed than you've seen Ash, even after that little confrontation stuff. He's in the clear now. So.
Like, yeah, great day, right? I mean, we ran them off. This is our territory.
It's how does it feel to be through your first really big life or death struggle here?
Gotta say, pretty good. I went a lot better than I thought it would after Doug and Rain got shot. I wasn't so sure, but yeah, we just took them out, ran them right off. It was great.
Ash will kind of nod, and he'll put a hand on Colt's shoulder and say, "I knew you were suited to this life, kid. A lot of people, after their first big dust up like this, where some people die, they get all overwhelmed with the reality of it afterwards. But you see it for what it is. It's the natural order of things, and it's a victory for us. As long as we're the ones on the winning side. Cheers."
Yeah.
I think Rain, who's sort of been sort of near as well, says, yeah, man, I really wish I could have been there with you for the big one, but oh man. And they sort of stretch a bit, and as I'm drinking a beer, say, "Oh, my ribs still hurt like a mother." That whoever had that rifle wasn't playing around.
It's fine. I mean, you got shot, and hey, we ran them off. That's all that matters. We got payback.
Yeah, too right.
But Ash, is there something going on with you and Mac? Because it seems like you're not too happy with each other, and we should. This is a celebration. We should party.
Hey, kid, I got no problem with Mac, but it's going to take him a while. He's still holding on to some things from the past that he best just let go.
Well, sounds like there's a story there. Want to share?
Tonight's not the night for that kind of thing, kid. Focus on the good stuff tonight.
All right. Colt just kind of drifts away for a bit, probably sits by Rain, just chats with him about.
Cool. Yeah. Rain is going to chat with you a bit. They didn't join the pack much before you did. They've maybe got 6 months on you or something like that. So yeah, they'll be saying, yeah, I mean, fighting off those guys in the woods was good and all, but Howell had me just running perimeter, and then I missed the big one, so I'd like to earn my claws like you did, but I guess
But there'll be a next time. Hopefully not too soon. But I mean, hey, until then, you're still pack. You know, that's not changing.
Yeah. And they'll sort of clink bottles with you and drink. Cool. So Ash, I think Evelyn's going to come up to you and say, nice moves out there tonight, Ash. You did a number on those assholes.
I did what needed to get done, and those guys weren't nearly as much of a challenge as I was worried they might be.
Yeah, we certainly put them in their place. I mean, Donnelly's going to be pissed about the state we left his bar in, but fuck him. He shouldn't have let those mongrels in here in the first place.
Yeah, pretty disappointed in Donnelly for laying them in and stuff like that, but I figure everything's even now.
Yeah. So, how's Mac been shaping up? He's do you think he's going to be back for the long haul, or is he just flitting in and out again?
He's certainly having some trouble getting back into the swing of things. I kind of hoped us going up against that other pack like that would bring him in a bit more. He definitely contributed to the fight as much as anyone else, but he doesn't seem as happy with his victory. I don't know. Maybe he's worried there might still be some of them out there. We didn't find that rifle, and that might be worth seeing if that's amongst possessions they left here or something like that, because I have the little bit of a worry it might not have been one of them.
Maybe you're right. I mean, it can wait for the morning, but yeah, maybe that's something to look into. We don't want to let anyone get the jump on us if there is someone else out there gunning for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe that's just got what Mac all worried about. He does seem to be the type to worry more than celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, certainly wouldn't be the first time he's run off with his tail between his legs, so.
True that.
Cool. So, are there any other? Is there anything else people want to do this evening at the party, or shall we move to the next day, or the next whenever, depending on what people want to do?
I'm thinking about having Colt try to harness the wolf to see, like, get a better idea of like what's going on, try to figure out this weird vibe. But I'm fine with doing that later.
No, that's perfectly cool. Can do that now and then see what comes of that.
All right. So Colt starts, looking into those like wolf senses, instincts, trying to see what's the vibe here. Wow, got a 12.
Nicely done. So on a 12, you get 3 hold, which you can ask any time during this scene, so you don't have to ask them all at the same time. And then you have that list of questions that you can ask.
All right. First question is going to be asking about Mac. What do they really want?
Cool. So yeah, Mac. What does Mac want at the minute?
Mac wants an end to the bullshit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And if I can, I'm going to ask the same question about Ash.
Yep, that's fair. Go for it.
Ash just wants to move on with things. He wants the pack, together and looking forward and not worrying about the past. He just wants to move on.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, and I said if you want to hold on to the extra point of hold and carry on doing other things, and then ask another question later if you want.
I think I'm going to hold on to my last question.
Sure thing.
Yeah. In fact, I think I might just, if we're cool with the scene going on, I think I might try to, still get some answers here. Or, I don't want to stretch the scene out too long.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine.
All right, so Colt's just gonna throw his bottle down, smash it on the ground, and just okay, what is it, people? We won. Why are half the people here sad? What's going on?
Not the time, kid.
We're supposed to be a pack, and the pack won, and this is a good day. Come on, let's just settle this. Let's just get this out in the open so we can get past it.
I don't think that's a good idea. Do you, Ash?
Evelyn.
Cool. Yeah. So I think you're triggering the provoke spill move here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you targeting? I assume you're targeting Mac. Is that right, Colt?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So if you can roll with heart. There we go. Sorry, I lost it on the page for a minute.
Got an 8.
8. Okay, so Mac will spill. We'll get onto that move in a second. You can choose. So you can choose that basically you either spill in response, or Mac can omit an aspect of the truth in their spill response, but then you don't get the pack pool move. Get the pack pool from the spill move.
I choose that Mac can provoke a spill if they roll a 10+.
Yep, cool. So Mac, we'll go for you first. For your spill, you have to openly and truthfully express one of the following: your desire for a packmate, why you are hurting, what you are angry about, or what you are afraid of. It doesn't have to be specifically in response to what Colt has just been asking, but it does have to be a true expression of that emotion.
I'm trying to think how this would come across, non-verbally. But Mac is angry about a sort of hypocrisy with regard to the principles of the pack, or what he sees as a hypocrisy.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, I think you can kind of get that feeling off of Mac of just, yeah, like I said, you can see that obviously the pack means something to him still, but he has sort of that conflict about it, and that comes across in his demeanor. So Colt, you in return. And so as a result of that, Colt, you gain 1 tie on Mac, and you add 2 to the pack pool. In return, you now have to spill as well. So again, one of those 4 options from the list.
Okay. Colt's I'm gonna express what Colt's afraid of, and he just goes, "Come on, people, we're pack, we're family. Why are we? It seems like we're gonna split or something. Mac, we just got Mac back. We just got Rain and Doug out of the hospital. The whole pack is together for the first time in a while, and we can't just split apart right now when we just got it together."
Nice. And vice versa, Mac, you'll gain 1 point of tie on Colt and add another 2 to the back
you
pool.
need some air, kid. Let's just go outside. Let's just, come on. I'm trying to sort of diffuse this somehow.
Sure.
Even though I kind of want it.
Ash, how are you reacting to this?
I think I think Ash is kind of looking irritated more than anything, as kind of like glaring sort of daggers at Colt, just for disrupting everything and things like that. I think like it's one of those things that if like Mac is approaching Colt to sort of clear him out, like Ash is kind of like giving Colt a look that indicates that maybe like if Mac doesn't escort Colt sort of out of the center of the spotlight, Ash might do it, and Ash may not be gentle about it.
Cool.
All right, Colt's gonna just take the hint, kind of hang his head, and like, yeah, okay, I'll get some air, and just sort of like head off.
Sure thing. Do you have anything you want to ask for your last question,
Sure. Yeah, I guess I'll ask. What is the biggest threat to the pack? I don't know.
Sure thing.
Can I make a suggestion? It's Mac.
I'm actually going to go with something else. As you step away a bit from the from the hunting lodge, where there's the big barbecue going, and there's everyone stood around. There's that strong smell of pack and of wood smoke and cooking meat and all that. And as you step away a bit into the sort of edges of the clearing that the hunting lodge is in, you just pick up a scent on the air briefly. Human, just a normal human, but it's unusual for there to be someone out here. And again, just as you sort of pick up their scent, it just fades again. But you get that feeling that the pack has been watched by someone. And we will take a 5-minute break there, and then pick up probably at a later scene. Cool. That's 7 and 5.
Sorry, back.
Cool, no worries. Okay, so I think we are probably going to just drop into a new scene now. I think we can take it as read that it's that Colt has let people know that what they discovered. The celebrations will have continued, perhaps a little bit more subdued in the knowledge of the fact that someone has been scoping you out. But I think we will so yeah, I think this will be like the next day. Evelyn will have called the three of you together. And she'll say, I don't care what crap it is that you two have got going on. And she'll stare at Mac and Ash and say, but we can't let it tear us apart. Mac, if you're going to stay here, then I need you as part of the team. And if not, you can just fuck off right now. But if whoever shot Rain and Mac is still out there, we need to find them. And I want the two of you to do it and see if you can't work out whatever shit you've got going on at the same time. Take the cub with you. Perhaps he can learn a thing or two, and fuck it, perhaps he can teach you something as well. Questions?
Ash just kind of remains silent and like is less sort of bristling less at a dressing down than one might otherwise expect.
Yeah. Cool. Well, get to it. And she's going to go back to whatever she was doing, and gesture for you to head off. So yeah, what do the three of you think you're going to do, or where are you going to go? How are you going to sort of arrange yourselves?
Well, I think if Colt sensed the human working around outside, that's probably the best. Probably the best place to start is trying to pick up that scent. Also, I think I caught I caught the scent of them last time as well.
You did, yep. Yep, you would probably recognize it again if you picked up the trail.
So are we all three searching as a group?
Ash will say, I think that's probably for the best we not split up when there's someone so clearly dangerous out there.
Chief said to handle it together, so we'll handle it together.
Cool. So yeah, you can start picking. Will you actually be in will all or some of you be in wolf form for doing this tracking?
I think Cub will be. Or sorry, Colt will be.
Cool.
I think Ash might, at least at the start, come along in human form because he wants to bring a rifle of his own with him because he doesn't want to get into an engagement at 500 yards and have to close the whole distance. And probably good to also have some eyes up high as opposed to just along the ground.
Sure thing. Sounds good. Mac, how about you?
I think Mac will probably go in wolf form alongside Colt.
Sure thing. So yeah. What probably just do it, who do you think is kind of going to lead this this search? I'm guessing probably either one of Mac or Colt. But
Colt will say, so, I mean, I guess I found the trail last, but you've been doing this longer. Do you want to take the lead back?
Yeah, I'll scout ahead.
Sure thing. So yeah, if you can if you can roll to harness the wolf.
Well, that's going on. Do you mind if I take a second to say something in character, mostly towards Colt?
But by all means, go ahead.
Basically, as they're kind of out and walking, Ash will kind of sort of say to Colt, who, but also obviously for Mac, it'll be like, listen, if we find this guy, if he's just a normal human or whatever, keep a hold of your wolf. The pack does not kill, or the pack does not hunt humans. You can kill a human if they're a threat to the pack. You can definitely kill a human, but don't hunt them like an animal. That gets us too close to the beast. I'll just sort of say that at Colt, but obviously it's not really intended for Colt.
Colt is not going to pick up on the subtext and just earnestly nod in wolf form.
I think Mac turns in wolf form and looks up at you in a sort of head tilted to the side, like, really?
Ash will just kind of shrug a little bit and then pointedly not look at Mac for the next few minutes.
I got a 7, by the way. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Sorry, it's a problem with flipping between different tabs. Yes, so you on the 7, you get to ask one question from the list.
Where is the trail? Where is my prey?
Certainly. So you will pick up the scent, and yeah, it is the same person that you smelt the other day. They're said a human, but you do pick up the scent of sort of gun oil on them. Gun oil and that odd, almost not. It's that metallic smell of silver, but it's almost the same sort of thing as like when you're like cooking a chili pepper or something, where it just kind of itches and burns at your nose a little bit as you breathe it in. Yeah, you will track back to a place where it's obviously has been a small encampment set up, probably not like a long one, but just like somebody has set up a tent for the night, sort of thing. This is a little ways away from the hunting lodge itself by now, but you can pick the scent up as it heads back towards town. You'll probably have to reorient yourself again once you're actually in town itself, because it will initially get lost within kind of the intermingled center of the city, of the town. But yeah, this person has definitely headed back towards town.
I guess Colt's gonna sort of root around the campsite, see if anyone, I don't know, left a wallet or any hint about who the person might be.
No, there's not really much left here. There's I said the tent itself has gone, so I should have mentioned that. But it's you can see sort of where a tent has been over there, sort of the crushed undergrowth and dirt and stuff where a tent's been. There's like a probably one of those. There's not been a campfire here, but you probably find like, sort of some of those one of those like automatic heating ration pack things has been left behind. An empty water bottle, that sort of thing.
All right, I guess Colt will try to follow the trail back into town.
Sure thing. So yeah, as I say, it kind of gets difficult to track it once you get into town itself. Just the number of people here makes it harder to follow directly. But yeah, again, if you want to roll me to harness the wolf to see if you can kind of pick the trail back up again once you're in town.
I got an 8.
Cool. Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
Same question. Where's the trail? Where's my prey?
Sure thing. So yeah, you will pick up the trail. It's a little difficult at first. Like I said, there's so many people in town. I mean, I say so many. I mean, it's probably a few thousand. It's not like a bustling metropolis or anything, but enough to make singling out a single human scent quite difficult, even for sort of werewolf senses. But what eventually leads you to it is again that sort of silver and gunmetal, also gun oil scent that gives it away, and you find the trail, and it actually leads to a church, kind of the other side of town to where the hunting lodge is, sort of on the road back towards Portland, away from the mountains. It's one of those kind of white clapboard churches overlooking the river.
All right, Colt's gonna look at the church, back at you two, and just back and forth, kind of conveying a church. Does this happen? What's up here?
Makes as much sense as anything else, but yeah, Ash will kind of stall out a little bit, look at the church and realize he can't just bust down the door and start shooting everyone who's inside. So
I'm wondering if as werewolves would it be, could we maybe have a bag or something that we strap on or something that we can carry our clothes in?
Yeah, or I mean, in this case, obviously, Ash has been in human form, so kind of just been carrying. But it is specifically that there's even rules text, so I won't bother tracking it down and reading it out now. But yes, essentially, you do get naked when you turn into a werewolf, but we don't worry about the details of getting clothes again. We
Okay, so Mac will slip away to get change back into uniform and come back in his clothes.
Cool.
And he's gonna head into the church.
Yeah, sure thing. So you head into the church. It's quiet in there at the minute. There's the doors open, which is not unsurprising, or at least the door's unlocked. And as you enter the church, as I said, it's one of those. It's there's nothing particularly out of the ordinary about it. It's fairly. It's some or other variety of Protestant religion. It's fairly sparsely decorated inside. There, as you enter, there isn't anyone inside, or at least inside the main body of the church. But just after you've entered, a man will emerge from the back. He is an older man. He's probably maybe in his 60s. He's dressed sort of not in full ceremonial robes, but he does have a dog collar on, and under his suit sort of thing, and he will come out. Do you was Mac a churchgoer before he left? And did he was this his church, do you think?
If it's the only church in town, maybe. But it depends on the size of the town. Some it might have multiple churches.
Yeah, sure. We'll which case there may be another church or two, but we'll say you probably do. So if you probably do know this man, he's Father Martin. He does that. He as he comes out, he says, "Hello, son. Is there anything I can do for you?" And he kind of narrows his eyes a little bit and says, "Is that Rick McCready? Is it?"
Yeah, it's me. Been a while.
Indeed, my son, it has been. I did not know you were in town again.
Yeah, I came in to deal with some business. I got entangled with some family troubles. You know how the old song goes? Should I stay or should I go?
Indeed. Not quite the gospel, but there is some wisdom in it, certainly. So, is there anything I can do to help you, my son?
I was wondering how are things in the town?
Things have been a little tense recently. Some undesirable types have been hanging around. It's been worrying the congregation. There's been a certain tension in the air.
Undesirable, like you mean like that motorcycle gang that?
Indeed, they're certainly the most recent problem to afflict this town.
So I'm trying to get a read on whether he is aware of, this werewolf, sort of, the hunter, or is affiliated with them.
Sure thing. So you don't get the feeling that he's suspicious of you per se. Your appearance has maybe startled is too strong a word. He wasn't expecting to see you because you've been away for a couple of years, but he doesn't inherently distrust the fact that you have returned, and you don't think that you don't think there's any inherent distrust from him. He doesn't seem scared of you, or otherwise concerned about your presence here, though he is curious maybe about you.
I'm trying to remember what the name of the guy I was here to investigate.
That was I've got it written down. James McRae.
Did you know a guy by the name of James McRae at all?
No, I did not know him, though I know what happened to him. The poor boy was killed in some animal attack, so I believe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a bit more background in that. His mother has questions still.
I see. I wish there was anything more I could do to give her some answers, but unfortunately, I am not able to do so. So yeah, you will definitely get a ping off there. You actually think he does know more about that specifically. You do think that he... I mean, what he said is true. He does genuinely want to, if he were able to give further answers to help sort of the grieving mother, he would like to. But you don't think that the reason that he can't is because he doesn't know anything.
So, yeah, I would like to get her some answers too. They seem to be thin on the ground around these parts.
People, well, I suppose it's what it's always like out here. People like to keep it to themselves, and there's always gossip, but what happened to that poor boy was a horrible thing. But I do not think it will be repeated.
Can you be so sure?
I put my faith in God and the protection he provides.
Well, all right then. I look up, in kind of silent prayer myself. Well, thank you for your time.
That is quite all right, my son. If ever there's anything I can do, please, you have but to ask, and if it's in my power, I will do so. Cool. So while Mac has been talking to the priest, Colt and Ash, we'll get those the right way around one day. What have you been doing?
I think Ash isn't going to the church because he's still carrying a rifle, which I don't think is necessarily super out of place in a small town up in the mountains type of thing. But going inside the church with it would be weird.
Yeah.
So Ash is like poking around outside, seeing if if there's cars in the parking lot that look like they got a tent stuffed back into the back of them. If there's anything weird in the trash, just being nosy and kind of keeping an eye out around the outside of the church.
Yeah, so you will actually notice there's obviously there's the big, parking lot out front for the congregation to park in, but you'll actually notice there is kind of a sort of rectory house around the back of the church as well, and there is a fairly normal looking kind of 4-door driving about town car, but there is also a sort of 4x4 off-road vehicle, and it's kind of got a roll cage on it. It's got big heavy duty tires. It's got mud splattered up the sides of it. It's obviously actually it's not something that's driven, just used to drive the kids to school in sort of thing. It's seen some heavy use.
If I'm not sure, what is Colt doing at this moment? Is he wandering around, slinking around in the shadows in wolf form, or where's Colt?
Yeah, I think Colt's going to stay in wolf form, just sort of keep an ear to the ground and try to make sure no one's going to sneak out the back at the church church or run off the thing, just getting ready to pounce if anyone tries to flee.
If Colt's still in wolf form, upon seeing the SUV, like Ash will try to get Colt's attention and be like, getting a familiar sense off of this piece of American engineering.
Colt will slink over and give it a good sniff.
Yeah, it's the driver's seat is definitely has had the person who sent you've got sat in it. It's very easy to tell at this point.
Colt will nod and be like, this is the one.
All right. Now we just need to find who it belongs to.
And yeah, I won't make you roll again for this. You can definitely, because you can pick up the scent, and the scent actually it does lead into the church, but there's a it's got like a back door bit. There's one of those kind of what you imagine has like the vestry, parish offices, whatever else in it, as part of the church building itself, and the scent trail quite clearly leads into there, because the person's obviously got from out of this car and gone through that back door.
Colt will go over and just sort of paw at the door a little bit.
Nice.
Well, Ash will sort of go up to the door and look down at Colt and be like, we're going to go in with you as a wolf and me carrying a rifle. We can't get spotted. You know that, right?
Colt nods.
And Ash will twist the door handle and open up the door.
Sure thing. Okay, so I think what I'm going to ask you to do actually is I'm going to ask, as you're opening the door, Ash, I will ask you to make me an act on instinct roll. Basically, this is to see if you get the drop on the person inside, or if they get the drop on you. So what I will tell you is you will open the door and you'll come into like a little hallway bit. And there's a couple of doors off, and then obviously the door into the main body of the church itself. The scent comes from one of these rooms. It's one of the side rooms. But yes, as I say, if I'll ask you to roll with Feral to act on instinct to see how this plays out.
I got a mixed success.
Okay. So, yep, you do it, but the MC decides how the situation is not under your control. So, you enter through this back door, and you head towards where this person is, as far as you can tell. Something, though, has obviously alerted them, and they don't get to react before you get to do something, but they are not surprised. They are prepared. As you come in, as I say, it is essentially like the vestry, but there's actually a couple of, you can see like a couple of camp beds are sort of stacked along the wall. One of them has been set up, and there's a man in it. He's actually probably again a similar sort of age to Ash. He's got he's quite well built, probably not as well built as Ash, because he's not a werewolf. So, but he's got the he's kind of got shaved hair, a bit of stubble on, but he's wearing he's obviously been lying in the bed, but he is dressed. He's got kind of a camo jacket on, and as you enter, he is scrambling for a shotgun that's propped up against the wall, and he is sort of bringing that to bear as you enter the room, though he hasn't quite got to it in time to get the drop on you. He is going to shoot you, but what do you do?
I think Ash is going to see this, and he's just going to basically try and lunge forward using his rifle to shove his shotgun out of the way and, like, bring it to the ground.
Cool. Yeah, so that will be a mauling. So if you could roll with teeth, please.
That looks like a miss.
What's the total you've got there?
I've got a total of 5.
Total of 5. Yeah. So, Colt, if you can bring yourself in a position to help, you could spend a pack on this move if you want to, or you can just let it stand as is.
That sounds good. Colt's gonna like rush in there and sort of bite at the guy's pant leg and just distract him long enough for Ash to get in there.
Cool. So yeah, that will cost you 2 pack to bring that up to a mixed success. And on a mixed success, you can choose one from the list.
I think I'm going to go for knock someone out, because I was going there. Probably as I lunge forward, I'll push his shotgun aside and hit him with the butt of the rifle.
Yep, sure thing. Yep, you crack him across the side of the head, and he drops to the floor. You said this guy looks tough, but not werewolf tough. Yeah. Excellent. I think so. Just bear with me 1 second. You will take a small amount of harm in the exchange, as there's a bit of a scuffle sort of thing as you overbear him. He sort of gets a kick or two in on you. It's not going to be. I think it's probably just. Yeah, you'll take a point of harm as he kind of. He gets a good sort of knee into your gut as you're coming in, but it's not enough to slow you down. Yeah, and you have an unconscious man on the floor of the vestry.
Does he smell like the campsite in the woods?
Yeah, no, this is definitely the same guy.
Ash will look at Colt and sort of say, I don't think we want to interrogate him here. Let's do a quick search, see if we can find the keys to that SUV and take him out of here at that.
Sure thing. Yeah. So I won't make you make any rolls for this because it's a small room with some stuff in it. He's not made any efforts to hide anything here. You will find he's got this shotgun on him. He also has a just sort of sidearm on his belt. You will also find a bulky like heavy duty plastic case, which when if you open the catch on it, it has a broken down 50 caliber rifle in it. you'll actually find as well a couple of grenades in here of some variety. This guy was seriously armed. You find some actually no, the camping supplies and stuff will just be in the truck, but you will find those when you look into the truck. I don't think there's much of anything else physically to be found in this room. He's probably been like reading a paperback or something, but nothing particularly significant. He will have like a mobile phone on him. You can check out in a little bit as well. But yeah, that's about it. I suppose actually, yeah. If we include doing a search of him, he has, as well as his, I said he has a phone on him. He has a wallet which has quite a bit of cash in it, but doesn't have any identification in it. Doesn't have a credit card or anything else like that.
Right. Ash will probably ask Colt to change back because they're going to need some more hands because Ash doesn't want to leave this 50 cal here. Doesn't want to leave the shotgun here. Doesn't want to leave the guy here. So you got to try and get all that out to the SUV. Probably tell Colt, like, if he starts to wake up, make sure he doesn't.
Sounds good. Colt will help you carry the guy out to the car.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
And on the way, Colt asks, "Do you think the priest knows about this guy?"
Either the priest knows about him in some capacity or another. He might not know what he's up to, but or the priest really doesn't spend much time looking around the rest of the church because the guy was living back there.
Speaking of which, do I hear I assume I hear the shotgun going off or what?
He didn't actually get a chance to fire the shotgun, so that doesn't happen. You will probably sort of, as you're finishing up with the priest, you will probably hear like the barest hint of a scuffle because you have very good hearing as a the whole thing was over fairly quickly, so you maybe hear something from the back room.
Okay.
It was the other side of the church, essentially, to where the priest came out. You assume his offices are on that side of the church, sort of thing.
So yeah, I'd probably I was heading out anyway, so I'd probably head out and then duck around the back to see what
Yeah, and you'll see the others coming out with their cargo.
Just in time, Mac.
Oh, come on, we better get out of here.
You mean you don't want to linger in the parking lot in the middle of town with a unconscious guy in a stolen vehicle? Well, I guess we head back out into the woods.
Shouldn't someone shake down the priest? He could know something.
Oh, he knows something. You want to abduct a priest?
We don't have to abduct him. Just, I don't know, have a stern word with him. We can always do that later. You're right. We should probably get this body out of here now.
Yeah, we can talk to this guy, find out what he knows. Then if we have to come back for the priest, we have to come back for the priest.
All right.
Cool. So yeah, we'll fast forward to you arriving back at the hunting lodge. with the hunter in tow. He has probably come round by this point, but there's plenty of rope and the like in his car to bind him with.
Okay. You're the pack enforcer. Ash, you want to do this, or?
Ash will sort of look at Mac and say, "Well, why don't you do it your way first?" And partially that's also Wade being like, I think like a lot of the ways Ash would go probably is getting us too close to like one of the lines we don't want to go over necessarily here. So
sure thing.
Right, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I assume we've got his stuff with us there. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll give a little bit more detail now that you've had a bit of time to go over it. You essentially, like I said, yeah, his all of his armaments, when you inspect them, are loaded with silver bullets or silver shot or whatever. His the mobile phone he's got has like a it's obviously like just a pay as you go burner phone. It's had like a couple of messages sent back and forth that are all very, very bland in what they say, and you suspect are coded in the sense that whatever has been said one way or the other, it means more than it says. There is a driver's license inside the in the car itself, though certainly Mac, you are fairly convinced it's a fake. It purports his name to be John Dunn. Whether that is actually his name or not, I'm not sure. But
so while I'm looking over his equipment, can I pick up any other scents than his? Like, is this like? Can I tell if this is like equipment that he is, he alone is used, or is it like shared? Are there other people?
Sure. The rifle and the grenades, you get the feeling have been handled by more people, like as a matter of course. Mm-hmm. Whereas the shotgun and his sidearm, it's as part, not just necessarily the sense on them, but just a certain feeling that you get from them that those belong to him. They are part of him, whereas the others aren't so much.
Mm. So, Mr. Dunn, I'm just going to call you that since I'm pretty sure it's not your real name, but Gotta start somewhere, don't we?
There's nothing you can threaten me with, Beast. I will not cooperate with you. My people are already aware of your presence. They will come for you. You'll kill me, but there'll be more of us.
Yeah? What, you got a small army, or just a few guys?
My compatriots are enough to overwhelm this place, take you down. That's all that matters.
Setting up in a church, huh?
We do the Lord's work, ridding the land of the unclean.
Yeah. A lot of people like to tell themselves they're doing bad things for the right reasons. You shot us first. We didn't attack you. We didn't hurt your people. That's not our way.
Tell that to the boy that was found out in the woods.
That wasn't us.
It was your kind. That is enough.
We don't go after all of your kind just because one of you tried to kill some of us.
Well, that's very noble of you, I suppose, but you're a curse on this land, and we will be free of you.
Ash will kind of sort of look at Mac and be like, what even are we actually trying to get from this guy at this point? We know they're through the church. At this point, we may as well kill him and be done with it.
Your friend speaks the truth.
We got one question first. Did you kill any humans here?
No.
Not a
We
one?
avoid it when at all possible.
You didn't kill Claudia?
No. I do not know who you're talking about. You get the feeling he's telling the truth on that.
So if the shooters didn't get her, I guess it must have been the other pack, the bikers. Colt sort of mutters.
I know it's not your intention, but it feels like you're going to provoke spill.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Do you want to roll that?
Sure. Oof, 5.
Sure thing. You can spend tie you have with someone to bump that up if you want to, but we can just.
I kind of want to see what a failure looks like here.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So I think at that point, the Mr. Dunn just looks around at you all and kind of glances up, and there's a clock on the wall of the hunting lodge. And he says, "Well, I've kept you busy long enough anyway. I am merely sorry I will not get to see you all dead." And you can hear just off in the, just off down the trail, you can hear the sound of a couple of vehicles pulling up. And we will take another 5-minute break there.
All right.
Cool. Yep. So, say you have Dunn tied to a chair, and you can hear a couple of vehicles pulling up outside, and shortly thereafter, the sound of doors opening, booted feet hitting the ground. Mac, what do you do?
Okay. I'm gonna just draw my gun and head for the for where are we holding him?
In the hunting lodge. So yeah, it's quite a sturdy, timber building. The direction that you hear the vehicles pulling up is towards the front of the lodge. You know that they won't be able to drive up completely up to the building itself because the trail isn't wide enough. It's quite densely forested around the edge. So they'll be parked a little way down. They'll have to come up to the lodge on foot.
All right. So I'm gonna find a window to set up in, and actually I'm gonna use his rifle.
Sure. It will take a moment or two for you to set it up, but that's not a problem.
It's kind of an insult.
Yeah. Cool. Colt, what are you doing?
Colt's gonna go full wolf right away, and
yep,
just try to they're attacking our territory. The pack's under threat. Just going all out, charging straight out, ready to leap on the first person they see.
Cool. Yeah, and Ash.
I think Ash is unless I don't think Colt or Mac would be inclined to stop him, but upon hearing these people come out, and this captive had said that he would live to see things, so I think Ash is going to kill the guy, probably just shoot him, and then chuck the body out the door and let it tumble down the hill.
Nice. Yep, that sounds appropriate. Cool. Yeah, I won't. Is there? No, it's. Yeah, no, that's cool. I was just checking if that might have been a dominate. That's not really appropriate, I don't think, in this situation. So yeah, cool. So you. You throw this body out, and it tumbles into the woods a little bit. You can see now several figures moving up through the forest. They are dressed again, similar to this guy that's wearing not uniform, but they are all kind of dressed in similar sort of camouflage jackets and the like. They are armed, probably most of them are armed with sort of assault rifles of some variety or other, as they come towards the forest. So Mac, you have a powerful rifle trained on them. So what are you going to do?
I wanted to point out one thing real quick.
Oh, yep, sure.
There's a pack move. For 8 pack pool, we can defend our territory, which gets us bonuses. We're only at 2 pool now, or 2 pack now, but I can put 4 of my experience in to put us at 6. If somebody does a spill, that'll put us over to 8. If we can. If anyone wants to do that.
That's fair. Yeah, if anyone can. Oh no, sorry. I think with the We Are Family one, you can only do up to 2 spaces per session, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
no, but yes,
not
no, sorry. So yeah, that's. But no, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you find ways to spill during the fight or during what happens, you are more than willing to do so.
I think like that might actually be a good moment for Ash there after he kills this hunter and tosses him out. He'll sort of turn back inside and will look at Colt and be you want to know what Mac's so upset about? It's because Mac can't step up and do the hard things that need to be done, like I'm always stuck doing. There's a helpless human that's a threat to us that needs to be killed. It's me.
You want to do this now? You want to do this now?
Ash will kind of
Go
sort
ahead
of
and tell him what you did. Sure, go ahead. You're so fucking proud.
There'll be like a silence for a second, and Ash will just sort of stare back and be like, if you think I'm proud over what I have to do for this pack, you've totally fucking missed the boat on why I do anything. It's about loyalty, Mac, about doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard.
The pack stands or runs together. The pack does not hunt humans.
Well, I guess we have a little bit of difference of interpretation of both of those, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we do.
I'm just having this feeling of like Ash is like kind of standing there because he like has turned his like back to the door to like or wheel on Mac and Colt, which seems unwise for the moment. David, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, muted again. So yeah, I think to be honest, I think that sounds very much like Mac and Ash were spilling to each other there, with the thing that they are angry at being each other. So I think I will let you. I think I will let you both gain a tie on each other, and you will essentially add 4 to the pack pool as a result of those spills, because that definitely felt like what was going on there. At this point, though, gunfire starts to hit the outside of the cabin as the front rank of the so yeah, essentially some of these people coming up to the forest have essentially dropped into sort of, you know, into a kneel behind some of the big trees at the edge of the clearing and are firing at you. So yes, Mac, you are currently under you're currently like in the doorway as they open fire on you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to return.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that should have been. It was me getting names wrong again. Ash, you are stood in the doorway as they open fire. You will get basically you will get shot if you do not do something. What are you going to do?
Ash is going to realize the precarious position he put himself in at the during that argument, is just going to like dive forward into the cabin, basically try and hit the deck and get behind some cover for the moment.
Sure thing. That sounds like acting on instinct to me. So if you'd like to roll with Feral.
That is a full success.
Excellent. So you do it, describe how you succeed, and give it a little flourish, and then gain 1 pack pool.
I think basically, as he sort of like, basically a couple bullets like rip through the sort of doorway type of thing, and Ash will just sort of dive forward into the cabin. It's that, close-up shot of him like grabbing his rifle and pulling up against the window as sort of like bullets are coming through above him and like some wood chips falling on him while he's like getting ready for the assault.
Awesome. Yeah, and so Colt, actually, what are you going to do now? Because you said you were quite eager to go. There's obviously incoming fire on the building now, but the doorway is now clear. So what do you do?
Colt's just gonna give into the wolf, go full aggro, and just charge out and start fighting.
Cool. So yeah, if you want to roll to give into the wolf first, so that's a roll with Feral.
I got an 8.
An 8, cool. So you get to choose one off of the list.
I'm gonna move 2 from heart to teeth.
Sure thing. Yeah, and you will begin charging towards the attackers. So we'll come back to your actual assault on them in a second. Mac, I'm now going to come back to you. So yes, what are you going to do? You can see now that Colt is charging these people. They are continuing to sort of lay down fire on the building itself. But
if I see Colt charging out, I'm gonna try and give some covering fire. Try and keep them occupied so that they can't shoot at him.
Sure thing. Cool. So yeah, that will be yeah, I think that will still be mauling. So if you could roll with teeth.
My teeth is 1. Okay. So roll. What? Okay, so that's 9.
Excellent. So that will you will shoot one of the guys who's laying down covering fire. It will, and you get to choose one thing from that list.
I will choose to discern the opponent's next move.
Okay, certainly. So yeah, you're going to you shoot at one of the guys who's sort of towards the front. The bullet, it's like I said, these are powerful bullets. It's like one of those like almost anti-vehicle rifles essentially. He's lucky in the sense that because most of him is behind a tree, and to be honest, you could probably still shoot him through the tree if necessary. But it only kind of catches him at the arm. But it makes a mess of his arm, and he kind of drops back behind the tree, and you can see him drop the assault rifle to the ground, and the hail of fire slackens momentarily as he's drops the gun. You also see a couple more people moving about in the forest behind them. You can't make them out well from here, really. But what you do, as I said, you see people sort of moving up, and what does strike you as this, you don't see any necessary physical evidence of it, but just from the guy before, you know that these guys, he was carrying grenades. These guys are clearly not afraid of using explosives, and that's probably the next thing they're going to bring to bear on the cabin itself.
Okay, so I'll grenadiers coming in.
Cool. And then yes, we will go to now I'll switch back to Colt. So you're barreling towards one of these guys in the forest. There's a hail of fire coming in around you. You'll feel and hear bullets kind of pinging off around you. Maybe a couple are going to strike you as you come in. Sort of glancing off your fur. If you could roll another mauling as well for me, please.
All right. I got a 6.
Ooh, dear. So if someone thinks they can do something to assist, you can spend a pack pool here to bump that up by 1, or we can let that stand.
I think some covering fire could do the trick.
I was going to say, Ash was getting his rifle ready, and he can pop out of the window and fire a couple shots off. Even if they don't hit anything, they might provide enough of a distraction.
Sure thing. Yeah, you're sort of laying down some return fire, and one of the guys who was kind of leaning around has to duck back to avoid getting shot. So it's enough to provide cover for Colt to get up to the tree line. So Colt, yes, you will harm one of these. You will attack one of these men. And you get to choose one off of that list of options again.
If I can, I'm gonna knock someone out.
Yep, sure thing. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, you run up one of these. This, in fact, the guy who Ash just he as he sort of ducks around behind the tree, you leap around the tree after him, grab him, tear at him, and smash him back against the tree, and he drops limp to the floor. You'll see, yeah, there's probably, all told, you reckon about half a dozen of these people. A couple of them like sort of moved up to the edge of the tree line. They're sort of laying down, covering fire. You will see that, yeah, there's a couple more people coming up armed with assault weaponry again, and you will also notice someone who is moving up with one of those, the long sort of grenade launchery type things. Cool. So yeah, Ash, you've kind of got into position in the window now. You fired off a bit of suppressing fire. So what are you going to do next?
Ash definitely, had that guy with the grenade launcher pointed out to him by Mac, and he's got to swing around and try and get angle to shoot him, because that sounds unpleasant.
Yep, certainly. Oh, sorry. I should have said just before we resolve your move, you will have taken some harm as just in if you could take me 4 harm, please.
Okay.
Colt, as yeah, you said, you will have been hit by a few rounds coming in. And yes, Ash, if you want to roll again, roll mauling for me, please.
That'll be 7.
Sure thing. So again, you'll shoot the guy, but you'll also get to choose one for that list.
I think I'll also discern an opponent's next move after I take that guy out.
Sure. So yeah, I think you it's quite simple. I mean, again, you hit this guy and it catches him square in the chest, and he sort of drops down. He's still active, if not very mobile now. But what you'll get the feeling they are going to struggle to. The hunting cabin is quite solidly built. They are probably not going to make an immediate attempt to assault you in there. But they do now have this nice target presented to them in the form of Colt. So you reckon that they are going to focus their attention on him now. At the end of the day, they're here to kill werewolves, and he's right there in front of them. Mac, what are you going to do?
I think I'm still focusing on taking opening fire on anyone that seems to be going after Colt.
Certainly. Just seeing if there's a. I think this probably just will be mauling again. Yeah, that's I think still the most appropriate thing. There isn't kind of like a protect somebody or what have you move. So yeah, go for it. Roll with teeth again, please.
Okay, so that's 5 + 1 is a 6. I'd rather not have a miss in this. So I can use some of the pack pool to make that a 7.
So if someone can think of a way they can assist, then yeah, they can spend a point of pack to do so.
I think maybe Ash might just give a shout like, there's one coming around the right or something like that to sort of alert him.
Yeah, sure thing. That works for me. So yeah, you can spend a point of pack, and that again brings up to a 7. So again, you get to choose one off of the list.
Okay, let me just check the list again. I'm gonna impress or intimidate.
Sure.
I want to make this space outside as unpleasant for them as possible. Make it like.
Yeah, sure thing. I think you send another round, and again, it's the guy you hit is messed up by this. Again, he's sort of still staggering on, but is looking bad. He's bleeding heavily. And you just get they realize sort of that they were they're used to hunting werewolves. They're expecting hey, we've come into their territory, a load of people are going to turn into wolves and charge us while we shoot them. So the fact that they're actually meeting like well-directed rifle fire from the building they're attacking is kind of catching them off guard. And you can sort of see them like faltering a bit as they kind of adjust they're not looking to push forward at the minute. They're trying to kind of cement their hold on where they are at the minute in the forest, and like I said, try and take out Colt. You will also be in a position, because you're specifically trying to provide covering fire again, to assist Colt should it be necessary. And Colt, that brings us around to you. As I said, you will see those men who are still up are bringing their guns to bear on you now. You're sort of in amongst the trees with them. There's a fair amount of cover, but they're quite close now. So what do you do? There's like I said, a couple of people who are quite badly hurt. They've been shot or whatever, and they're still kind of active, but probably not as big of a threat. But what do you want to do?
Well, Colt's been nicked a few times, so he's hurting, and he's just gonna try to dig down, find the inner beast, just go all out some more, go berserk if he can. If I can, I'd like to try to give into the wolf again.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can make multiple. I'll have a look actually. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. I might have a quick. I won't take too long over this, but yeah, go on. I don't see any reason why you can't use it again. I'd say you probably can't like stack up the same options multiple times, but I don't see a reason why you can't make that again. So yeah, go ahead, roll with Feral.
Sweet, I got a 10.
Nice. So you get two choices off of that list.
I'm gonna do +1 harm and +2 armor.
Nice. Yep. Cool. Yep. So you kind of probably do actually get kind of physically slightly larger, certainly more imposing, as the sort of the power of the wolf flows through you. And yeah, I assume you're going to go after one of the men here.
Yeah, who's ever's closest and standing.
Yep, perfect. Roll with mauling. Roll with teeth for mauling.
9.
9, sure. So once again, you can choose one of that list.
I think I do +1 harm.
Yep, sure thing. So yeah, that will be enough that you just straight up take out one of the people you're fighting. You just grab him by the throat and pull and rip. Again, you will take some harm from this, but you will again take 4 harm, though obviously you take 2 less from your armor, so you'll take 2 points of harm. Cool. And Ash, we'll come back around to you. So you've as I said, you can see now the men they're not quite routing, but they're probably actually not that far off. They're mostly, a couple of them are down for the count. A couple more of them are, there's probably like only 1 or 2 guys who are still like perfectly fine and on their feet. They're clearly not coming towards the cabin now, and they've kind of turned their attention on Colt. What are you doing?
Even though Colt's been doing pretty well, he's still obviously very chewed up. And I don't think he can take much more of that. So I'm going to use my borrow trouble to redirect trouble from someone or something to yourself. And what that's going to look like as these guys are closing in, and Colt, we've been back up, and then the sort of outside shot is just, the massive timber wolf bursting through the window of the cabin as Ash transforms and heads out there to try and get their attention onto him instead of them. So I have to roll plus feral for borrow trouble.
Sure thing.
And I will miss that by 1. So if someone can help, you can. Although the 0 to 6 result is the trouble hits both me and the person I was trying to protect. So that's also fine. But if someone does want to help, it'll allow it to just come to me as opposed to also to Colt.
I think Mac is probably gonna give a signal, some sort of whistle or something that is like a sort of pull back, like you've done enough, kid, sort of thing, to try and get Colt to back off a little.
Sure thing. Yeah, that works. So yeah, I think you can spend the point of pack and bring that up to a 7. Which so I'm just going to go and look at that move again. So on a 7 to 9, you are successful and the trouble is redirected. So you can choose one of the following options. You can either take an additional harm from what happens, you lose a tie on someone, or you lose one on the pack pool.
I think I'm actually going to lose a tie on Colt because I feel like the that might kind of like disrupt things a little bit to have Ash have to sort of come to his rescue there, and that might be embarrassing or something. So I'll lose the tie on Colt and redirect the trouble to myself.
Sure thing. That sounds good. Yeah. So you. Again, you will take 4 harm here as some more automatic weapon fire strafes you, as they do redirect their attention from Colt. And Colt, you will the men are distracted by the arrival of Ash on the scene, and their fire is redirected to him. What are you going to do?
Mac told me to back off for a moment, so I'm just going to slink behind a tree, take a moment to breathe, and just try to figure out who to go after next.
Sure thing. Are you harnessing the wolf, do you think?
Yes.
Cool. Then Feral, I think. I'm getting there with learning how they all work.
10.
10, nice. So you get 3 hold, which you can spend at any time to ask one of those questions. If you want to ask any now, feel free.
I'm going to ask who is the weakest here, and then I'm going to save the other 2 for later.
Sure thing. There's in fact several of the wounded people fall into that category. They are hurt enough that they can't really bring like heavy weaponry to bear. They can maybe still wield a pistol, but they're hurt, bleeding out, and a lot less effective than they were previously.
Actually, I'm going to use another question now to ask who is the biggest threat to the pack.
Sure. So yes, there is still one guy. He's been kind of stalking around the trees as well, and he's also been taking off shots with. He's got sort of an assault rifle of some variety that he's been taking pot shots with. He also has, you notice on his belt, he has. It looks like a in fact, no, we will say he has a sword at his belt, an actual, honest to God, medieval looking sword. Probably not actually medieval, but it's, yeah.
Okay, that's it for me.
Cool. And Mac.
Okay, so if Colt's backed off and they're focusing on Ash, I'm going to transfer attention to the ones that are like around Ash.
Yep, sure thing. Once again, if you're just going to take a shot at one of them, you can roll mauling for me, please.
That's a 4.
Yep, excellent. So yeah, you've got that perfect shot lined up. you can you're about to take it on one of the few men that's still actually on their feet, who's just bringing the gun to bear on Ash.
If I can, I'd like to spend 3 pack to bump that up to a 7.
Yeah, sure. If you can, if you can, if you want to roll. Sorry, if you. So how are you doing that?
I'm sort of like, scouting them out like on their backs, so that they're distracted. There's this big wolf who just got 2 of them, and it's just sort of poking out from behind the trees, distracting them.
Yeah, sure.
Them, that sort of thing.
Sure thing. And yeah, so this is this is in fact the only one who's really still on his feet properly is the guy with the sword. And yeah, he's obviously moving around to take a bead on to take a bead on Ash, but you kind of come around a tree from his other side, and he catches you in his peripheral vision, and you get that moment where he suddenly realizes he's surrounded, goes to kind of back out, and at that point, Mac puts a round from the rifle into his chest. And you get to choose one option from the list, Mac.
I would like to knock someone out.
Perfect. Yep. It catches him square in the chest. You reckon he is wearing some Kevlar there, but this just punches through it like it was nothing. And he just looks surprised for a minute, drops to his knees, and falls forward. At this point, the survivors, those who are still capable of movement, will start to back off. They'll attempt to mount an orderly retreat, and fire off some shots at you as they do so. But they are clearly on the run. Ash, what are you going to do?
Oh, I don't want to let these guys get away on us and come back to hurt us more later. So I think Ash, I'm going to try and I'm a wolf. I'm going to try and instead of charging straight onto that gunfire, I'm going to try and get through the woods around them to their vehicles, so that by the time they get back to their vehicles, there's a wolf waiting for them.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like acting on instinct to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So plus Pharaoh, that'll be a full success.
Nice, you do it. Describe how you succeed and give it a little flourish, and take +1 to the pack pool. So yeah, let's know how that goes. I mean, I think we've got most of the description of that, but let's know how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's just they're the camera focuses on them a little bit as they're going retreating, and as they get near back to their cars and they turn to start getting one of their trucks, there's a wolf coming up over the top of the car at them, type of a thing.
Excellent. And I think that's where that scene will end. We know what happens next. Okay, so I'm just wondering. Yeah, so I think we'll just do a kind of a little epilogue-y scene type thing for people. Just let us know. What's the last thing we see of your character, sort of at the end of this, in the aftermath of this this fight. And yes, I'll go character keeper order again. So I'll start with you, Ash.
I think honestly that shot of the wolf coming up over a vehicle and sort of jumping down towards the camera and then screams is probably a good shot to end that on with Ash.
Nice. And Colt, how about you?
Well, I imagine Colt's pretty hurt, so after the fight's finished, he's just gonna collapse and like last words, if the two others like come over and like check on him, like his last words before he drops off, and they're like, I remember what you were saying. Like, what the hell did you do, Ash? And then just drop.
Nice. And finally, Mac.
I think the last thing we see of Mac is driving his car and just sort of staring straight ahead out his front windscreen, and we see his car passing the "You are now leaving" sign for the town. He does not look back.
Nice. That seems like a nice season 1, cliffhanger ending there to leave everything on. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been a great fun game. I'm going to stop the broadcast now. So for anyone who's watching, thank you for watching, and goodbye. And we'll just then do a quick debrief.